Yeah, welcome back, Zay Game, Zay family. Valentine's Day in 13 days, or not a day the second. So we got what? We got 12 more days. So like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell, and we'll just keep on dropping. Let's go.
I lost my mind. I was only drunk because I didn't have no food. Nobody cared that I didn't have food. Y'all just kept giving me Patron.
Because I look at you different. Why the about my baby mom? I don't give it. Yo, if you ever was the talk to nigga, she'd tell you that.
I would never talk to that bitch on my level. She ain't do nothing to me, and she never been in my circle. She never been around that.
And you've been bringing it up. So now I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm never gonna touch you again. I'm never physically gonna hurt you. You marry this nigga, I'm blowing this head off on everything I love. I'm going back to prison.
We've all seen those glamorous influencers online, the perfect lives, the luxury, the constant stream of picture-perfect moments. But what happens when the cameras go dark and reality comes crashing in? For Tiffany Natifah Wade, reality wasn't just different, it was far worse than anyone could have ever imagined. On October 7th, 2023, what began as a typical day for Tiffany took a horrifying turn. She was at a barbershop with her young son, simply there to get him a fresh haircut. But in a matter of minutes, that ordinary day turned tragic. Her ex-husband, Armand Hilton, stormed into the shop, enraged and volatile. Seconds later, loud bangs rang out and Armand was seen bolting out of the barbershop, disappearing down the street. Tiffany dead. What could have driven Armand to commit such a horrifying act? And how did Tiffany's seemingly perfect lifestyle play a role in her death?
Man, I don't give a fuck about that. I told you stop throwing it in my face. If this is what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Stop throwing it in my face. All right. I just left you 2 months ago. Stop throwing it in my face before I kill you. This is what I'm telling you because that's what my mind said. I will go there.
For social media influencer 40-year-old Tiffany Natifah Wade, life seemed picture perfect. Her social media feeds were always filled with glamorous photos and videos, heartfelt posts about resilience, and glimpses of her successful businesses. She had captivated thousands of followers with her rags to riches story, inspiring people to follow their passions and chase their dreams. But behind the filters and carefully curated moments was a dark and dangerous reality she couldn't hide forever. Her volatile relationship with her ex-con husband, Armand Hilton, whose love had turned into resentment and obsession. Natifah, as she was fondly called by people who loved her, had worked hard to create the life she shared online. From Philadelphia, Natifah had always known she would be successful as long as she worked hard for her success. And she did. Natifah owned multiple businesses she constantly posted online. She had a home care business she named Kisses Care.
Look at her.
She also had a wig business she named Kisses Armor Hair Extensions, as well as several other businesses she ran. You see, Natifah believed in herself and knew she could do anything she set her mind to. So if she had an idea, she didn't give up until she made that idea come to life. Social media was her tool of success. She made a lot of money influencing other brands and modeling and influencing for her own brands and businesses. She never stopped working. She worked very hard, and that's what influencers do. From motivational posts to behind-the-scenes glimpses of her success, she made it look like she was thriving. But not everyone was happy about Natifah's success. Her ex-husband Armand Hilton was not happy that Natifah was thriving while he remained locked up in jail. The more she shared, the angrier he got, until one day he couldn't take watching Natifah thrive anymore, so he paid her a visit. By the end of that visit, Natifah was dead.
Man, I don't give a fuck about that. I told you stop throwing it in my face. If this is what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Stop throwing it in my face. All right. I just left you 2 months ago. Stop throwing it in my face before I kill you. This is what I'm telling you because that's what my mind said. I will go there.
When Nitifa met Armand, she couldn't have imagined he would have been capable of the horrific things he would come to do to her. When they met, they were in love almost immediately. It pretty much felt like a fairy tale for Nitifa, and she thought she had met the man she was going to spend the rest of her life with. A man she didn't have to compromise her lifestyle because he lavished her with money too. At some point in their relationship, Armand started buying properties in Nitifa's name. The properties were meant to show Nitifa the depth of his love, how much he was willing to do for her, and they worked. Nitifa had fallen more in love with him than she ever did with any of the men she previously dated. Everything about Armand seemed perfect, starting with the fact that he seemed to have dropped into Nitifa's life at the perfect moment. She had not been lucky with the men she picked in the past, and after 3 children, she was ready to give up on men and dating when Armand popped into her life. Everything else seemed to fall into place after that, or at least that's what she thought. What she didn't know was that Armand's over-the-top gestures weren't just a display of deep affection, they were also an insurance of sorts. His source of income wasn't clean at the time, and buying properties in Nitifa's name kept the properties safe in the event he was caught. It also meant Nitifa would have to be in his life forever, or at least that's what he thought. He thought everything he did for her would be enough to keep her with him, but once he was arrested and sent to prison, the scales fell off Nitifa's eyes and she realized she had been played by Armand. She quickly filed for divorce and moved on with her life, focusing on her children and businesses. But unfortunately for her, good news has a way of traveling fast, and it wasn't long before Armand caught wind of the kind of lifestyle Nitifa's willing, and he was furious. At this point, he had spent years of his life behind bars paying for a crime that had torn his marriage apart. And what made it worse for him was that while he served his sentence, Nitifa rebuilt her life, channeling her energy into her children and influencer career, and found love again with another man. Nitifa had slowly started to post the man to her social media, just like she posted parts of her life, and somehow the photos and videos she posted of her new man found their way to Armand in prison. He was furious that she would dare move on from him after everything he had done for her, so he called to demand she stopped flaunting her relationship in his face. Like I said, Armand was in prison at the time, so Nitifa didn't think she had anything to worry about. But the more she posted her new man and her luxury life, the angrier Armand got. When she wouldn't do as he said, Armand resorted to threats. He threatened to unalive her new man if she didn't stop flaunting him in her face, and threatened to unalive her as well. Nitifa was unbothered by Armand's threats. After all, he was in prison and could not touch her. In response to his threats, she decided to post more videos of her man. She doesn't post his face just in case it got to Armand, but she was not shy about posting the huge rock he put on her finger. Armand Hilton was absolutely furious.
Hey, look, I'm sorry for pausing it, but just let me know what y'all think. Y'all think she was a gold digger, or y'all think that she was just living the high-end life? Because she had her own shit. She had her own stuff, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, what y'all think? Or she was just tired of his bullshit? I mean, I don't know, but just let me know, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell.
When he found out that Tiffany, his ex-wife, had gotten engaged. After everything that had happened between them, him being locked up, the money he believed she'd stolen from him, and all the years they'd spent apart, this was the final straw. It wasn't just that Tiffany was moving on, it was that she was moving on without him, and that idea seemed to set something off in Armand. He couldn't stomach it. He couldn't accept that she was happy and building a future with someone else while he was left in the past, stuck in his anger and resentment. So, he started calling her, over and over, and with each call his anger seemed to grow. What had probably started as some frustrated messages about their past quickly turned into something darker. He was no longer just upset, he was threatening her.
And you've been bringing it up. So now, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm never going to touch you again. I'm never physically going to hurt you. You marry this nigga, I'm blowing his fucking head off on everything I love. I'm going back to prison.
Armand could not bear the thought of sharing Nitifa with another man, his jealousy turning to obsession in no time. When Nitifa didn't do what he wanted, he asked for all the proper...
Alright, look, y'all. And send me some videos too, y'all, so I can, you know what I'm saying, like, react to it. But, like, she living him in the past. But, like, this nigga, like, this dude, okay, you blowing a man's head off, going back to prison. For what? What they gonna get you? What they gonna count about, bro? It's like what you like. You gonna be in jail. He gonna be dead. She still can mess with 40 niggas, 30 niggas. Before that, you see what kind of lifestyle she living. Like, what you killing this man gonna solve anything? Number you gonna get about 30 years, 20 years. She gonna already have 20 years in a marriage. Boom. You ain't stopping nothing. You ain't stopping nothing, dog. Dang, like you doing all that. I guess it's good and it's love. You can do whatever.
He bought in her name back, thinking that would pressure her to give in to his demands, but it didn't work. Nitifa refused to give the properties back because he purchased them for her, in her name. There were gifts, and she didn't want to return them. This didn't go down well with Armand, who called with more threats.
You give a fuck about that? I told you stop throwing it in my face. If this is what you want to do, go in and do it. Stop throwing it in my face. All right. I just left you 2 months ago. Stop throwing it in my face before I kill you. This is what I'm telling you, because that's my mindset. I will go there.
When he realized the threats didn't work, he changed tactics to begging her to take him back. He would call her several times to tell her how much he missed her and their lives together.
Us to be together, like I really do. Really do. I miss the whole everything.
But at that point, it was too late. Nitifa had already moved on. Armand was unwilling to accept that.
Business taxes was always so all-consuming. Now business taxes is having a TurboTax small business expert who handles your taxes for you. With year-round advice and answers at no extra cost. So you have more time and money for your business. Now this is taxes. Intuit TurboTax.
Everybody be asking me, man, does the Bluetooth actually work?
Bro, you get a month for free.
It's free. You can get 1 month for free. So you got nothing to lose and you got everything to gain.
Try it, and you're gonna like it.
First month is free. Get involved, pop a chewable, and you tell yourself if they work or not.
And what he did next sent shockwaves through the city of Philadelphia. When Armand realized his threats were not working on Nitifa, he moved on to her friends. He threatened to unalive one of her friends until she told him she hadn't spoken to Nitifa in a long time.
I stand on it because I look at you different. Why the about my baby mom? I don't give it. Yo, if you ever was the talk nigga, she'd tell you that.
I would never talk to that ain't on my level. She ain't the fuck nothing to me, and she never been in my circle. She never been around that.
After the threatening phone calls, she took to her social media to post about his threats. She wrote, "Speedy, you went out sad, bro. I never thought you would be out there recording men in jail, or me, or calling or pillow talking. I thought you was a real man. I am ashamed, damn." Armand was threatening everybody at this point. He sent Nitifa several threatening messages like, "Thought you was gonna get away for trying to play me like you played me, butch. You don't know who the f*** are you. I'm a psychopath. I don't have to wish I'll do it. I'll get it done or get it done. This is what you don't understand." At this point, Nitifa was scared, but still consoled by the fact that she was way out of his reach until he was released from prison. At around 1:48 p.m. on October 7, 2023, officers were called to a barbershop at the 2500 block of West Lehigh Avenue. The suspect was said to have opened fire inside the shop, hitting a woman in her torso and her head. By the time first responders arrived at the crime scene, it was too late. The victim, who was later identified...
I think it was her. We're going to go ahead and pause it right here. It was her or it was her best friend? We're going to go ahead and pause right here. Because I bet it was one. It was her or her best friend. I bet.
Natifa Wade from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, was pronounced dead at the scene at 2:04 p.m. In cases like this, the first thing investigators do is look at surveillance tapes at the crime scene, hoping they can find any cameras that caught the perpetrator. Sometimes they find enough clues to make an arrest, and other times they have to work the case even harder, working it from multiple angles to get to the perpetrator. But in this case, they didn't have to try all that hard. You see, there was a camera right outside the barber shop that records everyone that goes in and out of the shop. A quick look at the footage told the cops a lot more than they bargained for. In the footage, a man was seen running out of the barber shop, a firearm in his hand. He ran as far as he could, but he could not outrun the cameras. Once the investigators had what they needed from the footage, they spoke to the witnesses at the scene. They were told Natifa, who was a frequent client at that barber shop, had taken her young son to get a haircut on the 2500 block of West Lehigh Avenue around 1:48 p.m. As Tiffany and others were inside the barber shop, a man entered, furious and intent on violence. The suspect, later identified as her ex-husband Armand Hilton, opened fire in the shop, hitting Tiffany in the torso and head.
Police have identified a suspect in connection with a deadly shooting inside a North Philly barber shop. 44-year-old Armand Hilton is wanted for murder, robbery, and related charges. Police say he shot and killed Natifa Wade inside a barber shop on Lehigh Avenue on Saturday afternoon.
The details of the shooting were harrowing. According to authorities, Armand's attack seemed calculated, his rage explosive. He had known Natifa was going to be at that barber shop and came prepared. Investigators quickly turned their focus to locating Armand, who was considered armed and dangerous. The Philadelphia Police Department issued a warning urging the public to stay alert. They also started a manhunt with the homicide unit and law enforcement agencies working together to track him down. The authorities begged for anyone with information on Armand's location to come forward, offering a $20,000 reward for tips leading to his arrest and conviction. The tip line was flooded with calls, but Armand was still nowhere to be found, and he continued to evade capture for days, further intensifying the public's sense of fear and urgency. As the investigation unfolded, Tiffany's tragic death began to reveal more than just the horror of the moment. People started asking, what led to this violent act? Was this just a random outburst? Or was there a deeper, more complicated story beneath the surface? Tiffany had built a life in front of the camera as an influencer, creating a persona that many admired, even envied. But behind that curated image was a personal history that may have played a key role in the events leading to her death. Her relationship with Armand Hilton had been tumultuous.
Hey, I don't care what nobody say. Tiffany got what she want out of that man, and thought it was all sweet, and maybe, or because she already took the properties, thought he can get it back. Nah. Then he was already spending money, and then she thought she can just leave him like that, and the man already crazy. You already know what the man already do. And then you living this luxurious life, and you know he can't find it, probably can't. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Y'all drop y'all comments down below, and you know.
Marred by issues that were perhaps kept behind closed doors, but eventually spilled out into public view. They had been divorced, but clearly old wounds ran deep enough to push Armand to this horrifying act. As investigators dove deep into what led Armand to do what he did, they found out something shocking. Armand had claimed to many people that Natifa had stolen from him. He claimed the properties he bought in her name weren't meant to be hers, but for her to keep safe. It's unclear exactly how much money was involved, but it appears that the financial betrayal might have been what set off Armand's rage. As investigators pieced together the puzzle of Natifa's life, it became clear that she was more than just a social media personality. She was a mother, a woman trying to navigate her own world and make a living, but also caught in a deeply troubled past. This story is far from over. Authorities are still searching for Armand, who is now wanted for murder. He remains at large, and anyone with information about his whereabouts is urged to come forward. The community, shaken and grieving, is left with a painful reminder that even the most perfect lives can hide devastating truths. Tiffany's death is a tragic reminder of how betrayal and unresolved pain can erupt in the most horrifying ways. As this case develops, it raises difficult questions about the nature of influence, fame, and the darker sides of personal relationships. In the age of social media, where everyone is carefully curating an image, it's important to remember that behind the filters and the glamour, people are still dealing with real-life struggles. Hey, thank you for watching. Our deepest...
When y'all, that's the end. Like, comment. subscribe, drop that bell. And you, like I said, you already know this man was crazy. And this man know he won't gonna let her try to take nothing and then her move on. But like I said, just like, comment, subscribe, drop that bell, and I'll get back at you.